Yeah, hi there. These comments are for MS, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass a Toefl IBT. I'm taking a look at your speaking score report right now from ETS. Okay, so on the independent speaking topics, you scored 2.5 to 3.0. It says your response indicates that you're able to speak in English about your personal experiences and opinions in a mostly clear, with occasional errors, or in a mostly clear and coherent manner, mostly. It says your speech is mostly clear with only occasional errors. Grammar and vocabulary are somewhat limited and include some errors. At times, these limitations prevent you from elaborating fully on your ideas, but they do not seriously interfere with your overall communication. Okay, so I'm just taking down some notes here. So grammar plus vocabulary limitations. Some minor pronunciation problems. Okay, so that's one. Now let's take a look at the speaking about campus situations. Now this is referring to Integrated Speaking Practice Test 3 and number 5. It says your response demonstrates an ability to speak in English about reading material and experiences typically encountered by university students. You are able to convey relevant information about conversations, newspaper articles, and campus bulletins. However, some details are missing or inaccurate. So that's not good. So missing some details from either the reading passage or the lecture. So that gives us some more information. Okay, the next one, it says limitations of grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation at times cause difficulty for the listener. However, they do not seriously interfere with overall communication. So we see more of these grammar and vocabulary limitations, interesting enough. Okay, then the last one is speaking about academic content. That refers to Integrated Speaking Practice Test number 4 and also number 6, right? So it says your responses demonstrate that you are able to speak in English about academic reading and lecture material with only minor communication problems. For the most part, your speech is clear and easy to understand. However, some problems with pronunciation and intonation may cause difficulty for the listener. Your use of grammar and vocabulary is adequate to talk about the topics, but some of the ideas are not fully developed or are inaccurate. So we get that idea again. So you're missing some information, I think, from either the reading passage or the lecture. Okay, so that's good. You gave me some important information here. Now, if I remember correctly, okay, one more thing I want to take a look at. Okay, you sent me one more email. Let me see if I need to look at this one too. So the question is, based on the score report on the speaking, the question is, what are some things that you can do at my online Toefl course to improve? Okay, that's what we want to get into right now. I know that you've been one of my students in the past. Okay, so let's go to my online Toefl course right now. Yeah, some of this you're probably not going to like, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to give you some lessons I think that can help you. I know you're one of my students in the past, and I'm not sure if you've done these lessons yet, but let's take a look at them. Let's go with vocabulary first. So it's very clear from the score report, MS, that you're having some vocabulary limitations. So that tells me you need to work on improving your vocabulary. That way you're not limited anymore. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is you probably know most of the words in my vocabulary lesson number 3. However, you should review vocabulary lesson 4, lesson 5, and lesson 6. That means that you want to download the audio files of these vocabulary words. You can put them onto your iPad or your personal computer or your phone, and you want to start getting more familiar with these vocabulary words. In addition, you should also write these vocabulary words onto note cards so that you can study them regularly. You can practice these words. On one side of the note card, you can put the word itself. On the other side, you can put a sample sentence, a definition, and maybe the part of speech if you think that's helpful for you. So you want to do that. These are 1,500 words. So that's lesson 4, 5, and 6. That's probably a great start. Now the next thing is, what can you do to address your grammar limitations? And remember, as you're doing your vocabulary and grammar practice, take notes, write down information, write sample sentences, create sentences, really work on practicing these words, because you've gotten a score 23 3 different times on the Toefl IBT, and the score report is saying that you have to develop better grammar and better vocabulary. So the next step in the grammar part of my course, I would recommend go through my grammar lessons, especially by completing my grammar pretest. That will tell you which of the lessons are more important to you. Now, once you've gone over most of my grammar lessons, there's one more lesson. It's lesson number 32. So grammar lesson 32 will give you some writing, grammar, and research practice exercises and focus a lot on the grammar areas. Again, take notes, write down the information in your notebook, write down some sample sentences so you can get more familiar with these grammar structures. So I think that is going to be helpful for you to help you with your grammar. So far we're working with the grammar and the vocabulary limitations, right? So I think I've given you some information to help you in that area. With pronunciation, you've already been going through a lot of the lessons in the pronunciation part of my course, but what you can do is take maybe 15 minutes a day, pick one of my pronunciation lessons, start the lesson, and read with me out loud. Read with me the whole lesson. When you're done with that, pick another lesson, read with me out loud again with that particular lesson. All right, so I think that's going to be helpful. Now the next one is we have to work with what's called missing details from reading passages and lectures. We want to be careful that we're not missing any points. Now if you want, you can go to some of my lectures and some of my reading passages, and what you can do is you can read the passage and just take down some notes or make a quick outline of what you see in the reading passage, and then you can practice speaking about that information. Now make sure you're not missing any of the major points. That's what's happening during your integrated speaking right now. Now the same thing goes with the lectures. As you listen to my lectures in the listening part of my course, again, listen to the lecture a few times, jot down some notes, and then use those notes to answer the questions, and make sure your notes are complete enough, and then you can practice speaking about those lectures. That will probably be helpful for you too, right? Now the last thing, of course, is you can join my course and you can start posting speaking practice tests. I don't know that you have to do one every day. In my opinion, you need to focus more on solving the grammar and the vocabulary limitations. That seems to be some big issues you got to work out right now. And you also need to be a little bit better at making sure you're completely and accurately speaking about the reading and the listening passages. But you can start posting speaking practice tests. You can do as many as one per day, and you can even pick speaking prompts from your Toefl book. You can get speaking prompts from YouTube or other websites, and I will be happy to grade those as well. Right? And maybe as you're doing the speaking practice with me, really pay attention to a few things. And I recommend maybe once or twice a week, I want you to write out the entire response. And you need to really pay attention to a few things. Make sure your grammar is accurate, it's correct, and it's not just basic grammar. You're combining a lot of your sentences, you're using what you're learning in the grammar part of my course. So you're writing out these responses, you're making sure that your grammar and your vocabulary is good, not just basic, and you're also making sure that you completely and accurately explain the information in an organized manner. So you can write 2 of the responses out, write it out, correct everything, make sure it's really organized, it's developed, it's really good, practice it several times, monitor your pronunciation, and finally, you can post it at my VoxyPop group for me, and I will give you some comments and a score. So we got to really work hard with you right now. We got to get past the 23 threshold. It's killing you. It's killing me. It's killing both of us. You got to get better than 23, right? We know what you got to do to solve your issues. Your score report is very specific. So that's what you and I need to do now. And as I listen to your speaking, part of my job is to monitor your grammar and your vocabulary, make sure that you're using a combination of both basic and advanced grammar. And part of my job as your Toefl speaking mentor is to make sure that you're using advanced you're actually using advanced vocabulary and grammar, I already said that, but I also need to check to make sure that you're completely and accurately supporting your ideas, either with your own personal experiences, using examples from that, or you're using the examples from the reading passage in the lecture to help support your responses. All right, so those are my comments based on what you sent me. So what do you say? You got to think in your mind, okay, Michael, I need to improve my vocabulary. I need to improve my grammar. I need to make sure I'm not missing any key elements from the reading passages or the lectures. I need to try to speak as organized as I can and try to use pronunciation in as clear a manner as I can. That's what you have to work on. That's what your score report is telling you. All right? Anyway, thank you very much, and hang in there, and I look forward to listening to your speaking again.